Two, good look there at Jeff Emig, who won the very first moto of the day.
And he's starting right next to Greg Albertine, who finished right behind him, so that could be interesting.
There you get a nice look down the line of the 40 riders. The sign goes, oh, we're just about set for the gates to drop. The RPMs are up, revving the engines, they're ready to go.
There you get a look at what it's like to get the start. This is Rich Taylor with a Honda helmet cam. He's kind of on the outside getting pushed out. Look at all the dirt flying, the dust. You see Greg Albertine and Jeff Emig right there side by side. They didn't get off to quite as good a start as they did in the first moto.
No, they did not. Up front, Jeremy McGrath has gotten the whole shot, but look at this. This is incredible.
This is what it feels like. You see all those specks of mud coming up? When do you think you got a chance to reach up there and pull a tear off? Not right now. So sometimes you got to ride with literally no vision before you have a chance to reach up there and pull off one of those tearaways and get good vision again. Also, you don't want to waste them all in the early laps because you need it through the whole moto.
There you get a look at Emig right in front of Rich Taylor, and he won the very first moto of the day. And as you said, David, he did not get off to the type of start that he would have liked. Neither did Albertine. Look at that piece of mud just flop up there and block the vision.
Yeah, talk about messing up your concentration. That stuff's flying, and also the rocks are flying up. We don't feel what he's feeling right here, but I can tell you, all those bikes in front of him are shooting rocks and hitting him in the chest. And some guys wear a chest protector, some guys just kind of grin and bear it, it's a tough, I mean, for the spectators to watch this versus actually feel what it's like going on out here. This is about as close as we can get, but it hurts. You got to steer out of the lines of the guys in front of you and pick the right rut and try to be able to see and watch out for the other riders. It's a real challenge.
Yeah, I remember the first moto I ran many, many years ago, back before you were born. I didn't wear a chest protector the first moto and got a bunch of rocks up. The next week, I had a chest protector for my baseball uniform underneath my jersey. Look up front, Jeremy McGrath, who won the first overall this year at Gainesville, is the leader. And you get a look back. They're not strung out too badly right now. It's just about anybody's race early in the
Well, it looks like most of the the fastest riders, the ones that are in contention for the lead, those guys have all gotten good starts. And usually Mike Kudrowski, who's right here on the back door of Jeremy McGrath looking for an opening, he's usually well back in the pack, but right here he's got a good start.
And look at Kudrowski, tries the outside but washes out in the rear as he went for the lead. McGrath continues to hold on. In fact, he puts a little distance between himself and Kudrowski. And McGrath, of course, opening the year with that very impressive overall victory at Gainesville. After dominating Supercross the last 2 years, he's become quite a story, and Art Ekman talked with him earlier.
Yeah, I mean, Gainesville was no fluke. I've practiced hard, trained hard, got ready for that race, and it showed. I'm here at Hangtown ready to win again, and it just so happens I got a little bit of a cold again, so maybe it's going to be bringing me some good luck.
That's right, you had the flu the last time, right?
Yeah, got a little cold this time, so good luck is on my way.
Or at least he hopes so anyway. I don't know if I'm convinced that he feels like he can go out and win with a cold. This is a really rough track, and it takes a lot of strength, and possibly it's taking its toll on Jeremy. I'm sure it will towards the end of the moto.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he also went out the night before, like at Gainesville, and played pool with his friends, That may help, too. It may start a ritual for him right now. But look at this. Kudrowski really putting the heat on as they come down the hill. Kudrowski looking for that inside line. McGrath, you see, got out of the rut on the outside, and that was the opening that Kudrowski needed.
Well, Kudrowski, ever since the start, has just looked really impatient. Like he just felt like he had the speed, and he wanted to go right past McGrath and into the lead, and did just that. There's not that many people have been putting pressure on McGrath, and he just made a little bobble. That was all Kudrowski needed. Now, can McGrath learn from Kudrowski and stick with him and possibly make a move on him towards the end of the moto?
Well, after the first moto, you heard Albertine say after he got passed by Emig, he followed him looking for the faster lines. Here's another look at the pass.
Well, as they come into the corner, McGrath was a little bit too far to the left, and he couldn't fade into that inside rut, and Kudrowski was there. McGrath made a little bobble just to make it that much easier for Kudrowski. He goes right by.
And I tell you, that could spell bad news for the rest of these competitors. Kudrowski out front this early on. He could run away and hide.
He could. He's the defending champion here at Hangtown. And it's up to Jeremy right now to see if he can keep in contact with him, possibly learn a little bit, and put the pressure back on Mike.
Well, take a look at the Honda field summary. Kudrowski is leading it, followed by Jeremy McGrath, Doug Hendry, Kyle Lewis, and John Dowd. As you look at the rest of the top 10, we will be back with more from Hangtown in a moment.
Holiday's the best time to buy? Just listen.
I shot Ford, Chrysler, Honda, but once I drove this LeSabre and got my price, I was sold.
We were waiting for the best time to buy. This is it. We were just driving by and we saw these people at the Buick dealer.
We bought a new car. I can't believe it.
Bottom line is, I saved money.
Get the biggest combined savings of the year at your local Buick dealer now.
World Series of Golf tickets are now on sale. See your Buick dealer for details or call. 7-second sound bites. Only one network takes you inside the courtroom every day and night for a full-strength look at real trials in action. Court TV. Live trials all day, the full story every night. Analysis from television's largest legal team. Court TV. Real trials, real people. Different television.
Who tonight is playing in his 2028 consecutive game.
I don't know. It looks like Ripken might take that consecutive game record from Garrick. Yeah. I don't think I've done anything 2,130 times in a row.
Coming close, we're wearing that shirt.
I happen to have a bunch of these, you jerk.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, go home, man, please.
Tell me another one.
Why don't you go home? Look what you're wearing.
Far better than yours.
Hey, get out of here, man, please.
Welcome back to Hangtown for the 27th annual Dirt Diggers Hangtown Motocross Classic. Your leader is Mike Kudrowski. We look back a little further back in the pack. There's a good look at Kyle Lewis. He is in the 4th position. John Dowd is 5th, and I believe that's Greg Albertine, who is now challenging Dowd for that 5th spot.
Goes around the outside. Little mistake by Dowd in the corner was all Albertine needed to move by, and now he sets his sights on Lewis. And you know, I think Albertine feels a real urgency to get to the front as quick as he can because they're starting to get away.
Well, you saw right there the effects of running in the middle of the pack. Remember, Albertine got the whole shot. The first moto, you hardly ever saw him taking off a tearaway, and right there as he was in the air, he had to take off a tearaway. And you get a good look at Kyle Lewis down 4th, but it looks like Albertine is cutting into that gap.
Well, it's tougher when you get a bad start, or it wasn't really a bad start, but it wasn't the start he needed. You start to get stuck into the flow of the riders ahead of you. Sometimes a guy will make a mistake, and you make the same exact one. You've got vision, you've got the roost coming up in your face, and it's tougher.
But things pretty tough right now on this rider, Doug Henry, as he is in 3rd, and things are heating up behind him. I guess I should say not tough right now, but they will get tougher for him because it looks like Albertine is going to make the move around Lewis, and as fast as we've seen him run today, it looks like it won't take him any time to catch Henry and put the pressure on him.
Well, right now, Henry's got his sights set on the leaders, but he's got a little buffer back there with Kyle Lewis. He's holding up, it appears as though he's holding up Greg Albertine right here, and that's good news for Doug. He can just focus on riding aggressive.
Yeah, it doesn't, and now it looks like Albertine gets a drive on the inside, but he just can't make the move.
It's been tough for riders all day to get around Kyle Lewis. Now, he's pretty comfortable here at Hangtown. He's ridden well in the past, and these guys can't find a way around him. Once they do, they seem to get away pretty quick.
Albertine trying to shorten that turn right there as he tries to cut it off on the inside. He picks up a little ground as he once again battles with Lewis. Lewis, as they come up on this set of jumps right here, is still maintaining the advantage, and it looked like Albertine landed a little bit wrong there, David, but he squirts around.
Doesn't really matter. You know, Albertine, he's got sort of an unorthodox style about him. He jumps with the front end a little high at times, and he does things a lot different than they do here in the U.S., and he just relies a lot more on strength than finesse, and that just took a lot of strength to make that pass.
Well, he does make the pass, moves into 4th place. Now we'll see if my prediction was right, that it wouldn't take him long to catch up with Doug Henry.
Well, Doug's got a pretty good lead on these guys right now, but look at how much distance already that Albertine has put on these two riders. So it's obvious he's running a fast pace.
Running a very fast pace. I believe I could see Doug go around the corner. It looks like maybe about, oh, look at that, man. He got a little bit, that was not for show, I'm sure. It looked like he got out of shape, almost lost it. A great recovery job.
I think, didn't I just say unorthodox? Well, have a look at that. That was a nice, excellent recovery. I mean, that gets your heart pumping a little higher, but Greg's used to riding kind of on that ragged edge and taking chances and riding with strength, and I don't think that affects him very much. He didn't even seem to miss a beat.
Oh, man, not missing a beat either. Right up front, Kudrowski. We've got the interval stopwatch up. We'll start it here and see just how big of a lead he has over the 2nd place rider. We keep waiting and waiting. Man, he is really stretching it out, isn't he?
Well, he's riding excellent. I don't think Jeremy's riding up to his potential, and it shows. He's already dropped back. Doug Henry moves into the number 2 spot, and look at Albertine.
Albertine making a charge. He has caught McGrath, who is faded from 2nd to 3rd as they do some battling. Come up over the jump, and it looks like Albertine has that spot.
Boy, this is going to make the overall real interesting because these guys are scattered all over the place. Kudrowski, who was 4th in the first moto, is now leading it, but if Albertine can make up some time, he'll be in a good position to take the overall.
And what about Jeff Emig? Remember, he won the first moto, but he is faded. He's running out right right now, he would need to move up into at least third, fourth to ensure himself of the overall victory.
Also, and Doug Henry, who was 7th in the first moto after having his share of problems, he's running up front. It wouldn't surprise me if he was able to catch Mike Kudrowski. He's riding pretty fast.
Well, Kudrowski is leading it right now. He's trying to pick up the overall, of course, the defending champion of this event here at Hangtown. He is having things his way. I guess I spoke too soon, David, earlier when I said he finally got around McGrath, that might spell bad news that he was going to pull out to such a large lead. And we saw just a moment ago exactly how big that lead has stretched out.
You know what impresses me is I watch him go through all these tight corners and stuff. He's just maintaining so much momentum everywhere. Excellent line choice, and that's what I remember back to last year commenting on his choice of lines. He just doesn't scrub off any speed anywhere, and it shows. He's pulling out a huge lead, and this battle for second is really getting interesting. Now John Dowd into the mix.
Well, there's about, what, 5 riders all battling, and there you see Albertine coming up. He gets around Doug Henry. That should move him in the second spot around some of the other riders out here on the course, but Albertine is riding with a vengeance right now, but I'm not quite sure that he could catch Kudrowski, although he has gotten around Doug Henry and moved into the second spot.
Well, one thing's for sure, right now, if things stay the way they are, Albertine would pick up the overall victory. So that looks good for him. He did the smart thing in the first moto by not taking any chances. Emig was riding fantastic, and he just decided to let him go and try to put together an overall. Right now, he's got it.
Well, Albertine hoping to finish second so he can wrap up his first overall victory over here in the States. And we'll be back with more right after this. And back at Hangtown as we are just past the midway point of Moto number 2. And the riders are kind of strung out a little bit right now, except for there you saw Jeff Emig coming through. After he got off to a sort of a poor start, he has now caught Jeremy McGrath, and this will be a battle for the 5th position. We've got a great battle shaping up here, David.
Well, remember, Jeff Emig and Greg Albertine were side by side in the first couple of corners on the start of this moto, and Albertine, having things dialed in, worked his way right to the front. It's taken Emig quite a bit longer, but he is definitely putting on a charge now.
And we also should mention number 14, John Dowd, who is also running along in the top 5. Now you look at John Dowd there as Jeremy McGrath trying to come back and take over the 4th spot. And there you see Jeff Emig just coming into the picture. Look at McGrath. He's having all kinds of problems there.
No, he just doesn't seem like he's in his rhythm. And, you know, once you get passed by somebody, it kind of messes up your confidence and your rhythm. And then you've got more problems. More guys coming up from behind. Now he's got Emig, and he's just out of his rhythm, and he can't quite pick up the pace.
And look at Emig as he just floats on by into that left-hand turn. And Jeff Emig, as he takes off the tearaway, or actually wipes the dirt off of his goggles, has moved into the 5th spot.
Now, sometimes you just don't like the track, maybe, and things just don't come together, and I think that's the case today for Jeremy. And we're going to take another look at this pass by Jeff Emig. He just doesn't appear like he's doing anything better right here, but he is carrying more speed. He chooses a wider line and a smarter line. He doesn't really have to make the pass. If he just pulls up inside of Jeremy there, he's got the inside. Jeremy has nowhere to go.
Especially on that, you have to really brake hard and slow way down for that left-hander. So he did a good job there in making that pass. Now, speaking of a good job, Doug Henry, who was passed just a little while ago by Greg Albertine for 2nd spot. Henry has found some new life, and he is beginning to chase him down.
Well, he is responding and possibly learned a little bit from watching Greg. Greg had a fast pace in the front. Oh, look at this. He goes by on the inside. Nice, aggressive pass.
Man, after he came off of that turn, he just goosed it, and the traction, the rear wheel stuck. And he squirted on around and moved into the 2nd position. So Doug Henry knocking back Albertine. And I believe Albertine running 2nd. If he could have finished there with 2 seconds, he would have been the overall winner.
Right. And I think that things are really going to get interesting if Jeff Emig can move up into the picture, because he's the first moto winner. And if he can move up into 3rd, he'll be the overall winner. If they were to tie on points, the tie would go to Mike Kudrowski if he can hold on to this lead.
Well, as you look at our Honda field summary, you can see that Emig, who won the first moto, is back in the 5th spot. We will be back with the 5th Honda.
Come ride with us.
In the closing moments of Moto number 2 here at Hangtown, David Bailey, Art Ekman, and John Kernan. And David, we have got a battle shaping up for 2nd place that, well, right now, words cannot describe how exciting it's going to be.
This is incredible how close all these riders are. And right now, Kudrowski's out front doing all that he can do to try to hope to win this overall. And it's really not up to him. He just has to hope that these positions fall where they to his advantage so he can pick up an overall win. But right now, as it sits, I believe that Greg Albertine, if he can make a pass right here, he can pick up the overall win, right?
Yeah, should be able to pick it up. But right now, Doug Henry doing an excellent job of holding off Albertine. Remember earlier, Albertine got around Henry for second place, and then Doug got back around. And let's give a call to John Dowd as you look at Jeff Emig. Dowd back in the 4th position, having a great day.
He's looking good, and I would expect him to do well on a track like this where it's rough and demands a lot of strength. That's one of his strengths.
Well, I thought for a minute here Albertine was going to get around Doug Henry, but Doug Henry maintaining that second spot. But Albertine is really putting on the charge, as is John Dowd. And don't forget Jeff Emig. And look at Dowd on the inside, and Albertine gets out. The rear wheel looks like he got hung up on that berm and just almost lost it.
He just came up the hill too wide and let his front wheel drift over the berm. He let John Dowd get by. Now he's got pressure from Jeff Emig, and Jeff Emig's got pressure from the grid. This is awesome to have this kind of a battle this late in the race.
I'll tell you what, he's back in 4th place right now for Albertine. That's going to cost him the overall victory unless he can make up some ground. Now we look back out front. There you see Mike Kudrowski, the leader. And this is the last lap, and what can you say? He has just taken off and left everybody.
You see right there, he's holding up one finger. I'm number 1. Well, you are in this moto. He did all he could do in the first moto, but it just wasn't enough, and the overall is really up in the air. It depends on what happens in that group of riders behind him.
You know, right before the Gainesville race, the Outdoor National, he told me that he wanted to be like Dale Earnhardt, the NASCAR Winston Cup driver who is so dominant. Well, in this moto, he certainly looked like Dale Earnhardt on 2 wheels.
Mike's a fighter, and you know, most of the time at 4th place really doesn't put you in a position for an overall win, but you know, if things fall right here, he can pick it up.
Well, there is Jeff Emig, who goes around Albertine. Well, no, he doesn't. Albertine holds him off. That's the 4th position. Now, Emig, if he can get around Albertine and finish in the 4th spot, he would tie with Kudrowski. But because of the tiebreaker, Kudrowski winning the second moto, if he hangs on to win it, Kudrowski would get the overall victory. But look at Albertine trying to do everything he can to hold off Jeff Emig for that 4th spot. And look at John Dowd. They've actually caught back up with him. Remember, Albertine almost dumped the bike and fell back into that 4th spot, but now they have caught up with Dowd, and Doug Henry is not too far out in front of them, as you get a good look at it there.
I think all these riders are doing the math in their head while they're riding, figuring out what's going to happen in the overall right here, but no matter how you slice it, these guys, every one of these riders are within just a few points of each other. So for the title chase, it's not going to matter that much. Even for McGrath, who's faded all the way back, he's going to still be, you know, he's only going to lose a few points on the day.
Well, we were on the last lap, of course, and things are really heating it up for this battle for second place. About 5 riders, and look at Jeff Emig as he gets alongside Albertine. Emig is going to take over that 4th spot in Albertine. Oh, man, what a terrible move there as he got over 2 ruts and loses 2 positions.
And Jeremy pretty wise there to duck to the inside. He could have taken Jeremy right out to the outside, and that bumps Emig up into 4th position in a tie with Mike Kudrowski right here for the win. Now, Kudrowski just has to hope everything falls his way, and right now, if Emig can pass one more rider, he'll pick up the overall win.
But Kudrowski so far out in front of everybody. He takes the victory, moto number 2. Now we get back down to business. Here comes Doug Henry. John Dowd on the inside trying to make the move. Henry holds him off for second place. Dowd, a great run, finishing 3rd, but that denies his teammate Jeff Emig of his first overall victory. There you get a look at the results. Kudrowski, the winner of moto number 2.